I'm Jeff Hunt. He's Bill Thorpe. It's Wednesday.
Yes, you're halfway there.
It's the first week back from vacation, too. So, oh, my goodness.
No.
Well, and then I got this headline for you.
Yeah, what? Tell me.
No Tabor refunds.
Ooh.
This year's Colorado pollist warns of tight fiscal outlook. Golly. Remember when they had so much money, they were just giving it back to you?
Oh, yeah.
And then he sent a note saying, I'm such a great governor. Here's your Colorado payback or whatever it was called.
Colorado
cashback. Yeah. I'm so amazing. You're not going to get a letter from Jared Polis. You should, explaining where the heck your money's been. But you're not getting a Tabor refund. Governor Jared Polis on Friday submitted a revised budget request for the next 2 fiscal years, calling for new public safety spending. Hasn't been like we haven't been crying about crime in the state for a while. Changes to Medicaid growth because it's gotten so big it makes up a third of the entire budget. And renewed efforts to privatize Pinnacle Insurance. Notably, the governor said Colorado residents won't get refunds from the Taxpayer Bill of Rights. You know, Billy, in the last few years, we had, what was it, Amendment G? Was that the one where we lost all of our property tax?
Yeah, Gallagher Amendment. Yeah.
Gallagher Amendment.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's what
Gallagher
changed that
Amendment.
one, yeah.
That got rid of the Gallagher
Amendment. And I think it was G, yeah.
And that's gone. So now your property taxes are through the roof. All the money that you pay into the government just goes to more and more programs. We're paying for kids to eat, rich kids, like Cherry Creek High School, for instance, to have free breakfast and lunch. You've got universal preschool. You've got Medicaid, healthcare, education for illegal immigrants. The city spent $356 million on illegal immigrants. There's money everywhere. But it's not in your bank account. It seems that when Democrats get in control, government gets bigger, your bank account gets smaller. What do you think of this? Not only are Democrats constantly whittling away Tabor, not only are they always going after your fees, they're now not going to even have enough money to do a refund because they built all these progressive programs. I mean, this is a record budget. This is the biggest budget it's ever been.
Yeah.
Not in your bank account. Welcome to the total Democrat control of the state of Colorado. Join the conversation. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Now is time for the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good Wednesday morning, 29, and clear feels like 24 out there in Denver. Expecting a high of 55 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story.
We're finally in a season where people are responding with excitement, enthusiasm, and confidence in my campaign that there's a candidate who can actually win the general.
Victor Marks is running for governor, and he says he has the funding. He was on the show last hour with Jeff and Billy, and you heard it here first. His campaign has raised over $600,000, and there's a lot of energy around Marks.
People know I'm not a politician, and I'm not about politicking, and I think they see a consistency of what I've said from the beginning and how I've refused to play by the handbook or playbook of a lot of politicians. I just said I wouldn't do it. And what I mean by that is I've been told by other candidates and groups, you have to come here, you have to speak, you have to do this. And I would say, well, we have a very disciplined, structured, strategic approach to campaigning. We're going to stick to it. They'd say, but the people need to know. And I would go, well, if the object is to win the general election and I'm winning, I'll stick to what we're doing because the people from all 64 counties in Colorado are proving it that I'm their choice.
Impressive. Amen. And he says he's bringing back plastic bags. Let's go. That's one reason alone.
Have you guys seen how the like thicker plastic bags that we all have to drive around in our cars with now are worse for the environment? Like they definitely don't degrade.
Absolutely.
Well,
it's
the thing
a
for me
joke.
on those bag things, as I was texting with someone, I am not against bringing my own bags because the ones that I use now are simply just more efficient. I can get more into them. I can use them. They're more efficient. But what I dislike is the idea that the choice is mandated, because I don't see the cost benefit on the other end, or even the environmental benefit necessarily. I don't think that we are gaining anything by not letting anybody use the disposable plastic bags or paper bags even at the grocery store. I don't think that we're doing anything. So I understand why a lot of people are frustrated and upset about it. I like using the bags that I have right now. I don't know if I would go back. Probably in quick trips I would, but I'm not sure on the big shopping days I would ever go back. But bottom line is, I don't think this accomplishes anything. I think we are all in some way inconvenienced over a methodology that isn't doing what it should. It's an inconvenience that doesn't accomplish any larger real goal. I don't see any benefit to it. So that's the reason I think it's just dumb. It's the same thing about after us going to the airport and taking our shoes off for over a decade after one dude tried to light his shoes on fire. That was just dumb. That was dumb.
True.
Yeah, that's it. I think the same thing is this bag thing at the grocery stores is like us taking the shoes off at the airport. Not accomplishing anything. It's dumb. It makes some people feel better about it, but yeah.
I agree.
The open plains of the asphalt jungle. Home to many creatures great and small, and the popping ground for one of the most clever and illustrious creatures, the plastic bag.
Bring it back. We need more of that. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, I would love to see that.
Have you guys had to order the stupid little plastic bags off of Amazon to put in the bathroom trash bags?
I did order a few of those.
That's what
yeah,
we've
but
had
they
to
don't
do.
feel they don't
They
feel
don't feel the same. They're thinner. And
We do. I just buy the short can bags. Because you can have tall kitchen bags and shorts, and so I just buy the short ones, and they roll over the side. And the reason that I need that extra 6 inches of lip over the top is because most of the children in my house believe that a trash can is a geometric challenge to try to push physics, to get as much in there as possible so that you can avoid taking it out. So it's I don't know if there's some sort of a game in our house that the person that takes out the trash is the loser, but evidently I'm losing a lot.
No doubt. I mean, I know we sound selfish and all that, but please give me a break, man. It just made life so much easier with the plastic bags at the store. Yeah, I want them back. Absolutely.
And straws. Can we talk about the straws, too?
Oh,
how terrible
yeah.
those go? I was always confused as to why we lived in two polar universes. One where plastic straws never biodegrade and end up in the noses of turtles, right, and live for 1,000 years,
Yep.
and then straws that can't make it through a meal. There's no in between on that. I don't want straws that are around, to the year 3000 either. But I would like to be able to finish my dinner without the straw falling apart and paper ending up in my mouth.
Oh man, maybe we will get back to normal.
In our house, that we'd made this switch, and it's been weirdly effective for the kids. Glass straws. We have a series of them. They go in the dishwasher and they can be used.
You don't like those?
Great.
No,
They're
like
great.
those.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh,
They have been absolutely wonderful. Now again, I would not.
Glass?
Oh yeah, I would not recommend. Now this is the thing: this is home use. I'm not advocating for
true.
this to be out at McDonald's or
Yeah,
Burger
with
King.
toddlers tossing those
there's
things
no way.
around?
No. But I'm just saying, I was surprised when we got them at first. I was like, oh, this is just dumb. But they have been remarkably effective, and the kids use them all the time in their tea and milkshakes and other things that they do. And so I'm just saying, saying. This is one of the things that I'm like, oh, this is just stupid. But inside of our house usage, it's been wonderful. Larger restaurant or public usage, very, very stupid. This is an individual house use only. There's no call for those things to be outside of the house at any point in time. They're dangerous. You wouldn't put them in a purse. They'd break. There are all sorts of things that are wrong with them. But I just was surprised. Inside of our house, it has been remarkably good. And they haven't broken all of them. We only lost like 2.
Suzanne's texting in saying, I'm lazy for using a straw.
That's laziness.
Okay, I don't think Suzanne's not going to like this about me. I double straw.
Oh, man.
And here's
What's wrong with you?
And here's the reason why. It is completely and totally stupid. And I love the fact that my wife understands this neuroses that I have, and she embraces it fully. She knows if she has my drink, she will put 2 straws in it. And the reason is, and it is stupid, and I can't break the habit now. The reason is, growing up, when you're running around with your friends, how do you know which drink is yours? 2 straws. That's how I knew which one was mine. All the rest of my buddies were rolling out of Burger King and places like that, and they're all single straw in it. I knew exactly which one was mine.
I've heard a lot of critiques. The idea of using a straw being lazy is hilarious. I hate the feeling of the cold on my teeth. That's why I use a straw.
I'm right there.
It's a mouth
here.
exercise. You are puckering and you are drawing in. You are thinning the cheekbones. I'm kidding.
You know, Bill, if you use 2 straws with like an ice cream soda, you know what happens is the ice cream literally goes up one straw and the soda goes up the other. Did you know that?
No.
Yes.
I'm going to have to try that. I wasn't paying attention on that one.
A Pentagon official told MS whatever it's called, MS Now this morning, that 7 soldiers were injured during the capture of dictator Maduro and his wife, and that 5 of the 7 have already recovered from their injuries. Venezuelan officials claim that over 70 people were killed in the raid. DJT says that Venezuela is turning over 30 to 50 million barrels of oil to the U.S.
to be sold at market price, and that President Trump would control the profits to benefit the people of both countries. That as he praised the U.S. mission to capture Venezuela's now deposed authoritarian leader, Nicolas Maduro.
NBC's Alice Barr, in a post on Truth 47, said that he's asked Energy Secretary Chris Wright, Colorado's own, to get things going immediately. DJT said he's effectively running Venezuela and is focused on boosting oil production there. The government of Denmark has requested...
By the way, I think we should just use Venezuelan oil money to buy Greenland.
Yes. No, I think that's a great idea.
Let's do that.
Absolutely. I think that is an awesome plan. The government of Denmark has requested an urgent meeting with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. DJT claims the country is unable to protect Greenland.
European allies are voicing deep concern amid new details from the White House that President Trump and his team are discussing a range of options for acquiring Greenland, and that using the U.S. military is always an option, calling it a national security priority.
That's Alice again. Thank you. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said in a statement that the island is important because it can be used to deter American adversaries in the Arctic. Arctic. I'm sorry. After preaching not to trust anyone in the government before leaving his podcast for the government, the FBI, Dan Bongino is losing his mind on X, lecturing to people who are just trying to hold the government accountable. He returns to his podcast this morning. I'm going to try to listen to it. Has he really left the FBI, or is this just his new assignment? That's what I'm asking.
Now people are texting, wondering whatever happened to your reports from Candace Owens.
Oh, you know what? I have one, but we got carried away with the straws. I'll tell you what, here. She's exposing everything, doing a great job. I'll give her a 9 out of 10.
Elon Musk is a robot? Have you seen that one?
I haven't seen that one.
Okay.
But,
she thinks that Elon Musk is not a human being.
Wait a minute. When did she say that?
I'm kidding.
Okay, so the latest one here, I'll pop this one in here. Tyler Robinson, 3 or 4 hours after the assassination, he had a dinner at a steakhouse in a small town about 3 hours south of Orem. Okay, so they were on the manhunt for him, the FBI. They have the receipt, the credit card receipt, and FBI was like kind of nonchalant about it, really didn't care after the employees reported that he was there eating dinner.
They explained that Tyler Robinson was not very talkative. He seemed absolutely fine and normal and was texting on his phone. Maybe that's when he was sending more messages to his lover as he was eating a steak. He was sure hungry, is what I would say, but calm nonetheless. He didn't have the jitters. He wasn't scared. He was just hungry. Now, what's fascinating to me is what happens after, because again, I'm expecting that the feds would go, well, let us get down there. Let us get down to Panguitch. Let us start
That's the name
interviewing
of the town.
everybody. Let's start checking all these cameras around here to see if we've got them. No, that's all they did. They
just called him. They weren't fascinated or really aggressive about trying to find him. So, yeah, she's doing a great job. She is rocking it.
What?
Knocking it out of the park. And she's exposing
She's exposing
Colvett.
nothing.
Andrew Colvett has been caught in 3 or 4 lies over the past week, 2 weeks. It's pretty embarrassing.
He went and had a steak dinner?
Yes, he did.
Well, it's probably because he wasn't going to have many more.
And evidently he went to Dairy Queen also. So we've known that for 3 months following the shooting. So they're on the manhunt for him.
Wait, you didn't think he was going to eat?
Well, I mean,
No, that's where he got his secret messges from
From the Egyptians?
Yeah, and the Trilateral Commission. It comes in blizzards. Depends on the flavor you order.
I hear you. Well, he didn't use a 30. I feel, this is just my opinion, he didn't use a 30-06, and he probably didn't shoot the gun. And it's probably, more than likely, it's not a bullet. And
Not
Andrew
a bullet?
No.
Not a bullet?
Absolutely.
Wait, what killed him? A laser?
A
bomb?
Could be numerous things. Just an opinion.
But what would it be, though? If we,
maybe
if it's not
maybe
this?
electrocuted, maybe a bomb, maybe something in the.
No,
maybe
here's the idea, though.
hair?
The electrocuted is a different physiological response. We have to abide by the video that we have, which shows a physiological response.
Which shows a gunshot wound.
I think
And
something
that's what we
was
need to see.
detonated on him. Absolutely.
How did they get it on him?
What? There was no smoke.
Well, I mean, look.
How did they get? And what
Well,
I'm looking at, Blake,
here's
Blake,
what
hang
happened.
on a sec, Blake. If
Here-
something was
how
detonated
did
on
they
him,
get it on?
how did they get it on him? Why is it not visible the second before the supposed device goes off? Why is it not visible?
I'm not certain how many microphones he had on his body, on his person.
No, but it has to be on his neck. If it's
I don't
an
know if
explosive
it
device,
has to be on his neck.
Okay, here's the idea. Please explain to me what explosive device allows something to be shot or thrown at a distance without any visible trace and then creates that wound. With things like mortars and other of those compact explosive delivery systems, there is things you can see. So even if you put the microphones on him, so you're talking about a microphone being a small mortar
Possibly.
that then shoots into.
That's what it looks like.
Here's the thing: is it doesn't look like that at all from what I see, because you would see things on the microphone. You would also be able to track projectile. You would see there would be discharge. There would be a whole series of things that would have to happen. Also, you'd have to explain the angle of where it got into, and then also why you would assume that the microphone would be placed in exactly the position in order to hit his neck. Because once you put it on him, he moves.
Maybe
he moves
they
his
weren't
shirt
trying to
around.
hit his neck.
He moves his shirt around.
Maybe they weren't
He
trying to
moves
hit his neck.
Maybe there's no secret mortar microphone. Maybe
not.
Maybe it's
Maybe
Occam's
there is.
razor. and
Maybe
the
there's
easiest
not a
solution
secret
is
bullet
actually
that
the
hit his
thing.
vertebrae and went straight down. I mean,
We don't see that. Where?
Colvett was already caught in a lie there, saying that the surgeon said that he was Superman, and the surgeon says he didn't say that. He would have broken HIPAA laws. So There are a lot of questions. You don't believe it. I don't believe it. You don't believe what I say. I don't believe what they
I don't
say.
believe what Candace says. It's not you. It's what Candace says.
They've given you a new nickname, Blake.
True.
On the text messages. You are now known as Blake Owens.
Okay, that's fine. I don't know if my wife will like
I
that.
just see them Candace.
Blake Olson, Blake Owens.
All right, I'll tag out with that this hour. College football playoffs tomorrow. Don't forget that. Miami and Ole Miss in the Fiesta Bowl. The Lightning strike the Avs last night, 4-2 in Tampa, 27 in Brighton, 28 in Englewood, 29 in Denver. You're waking up with Jeff and Billy on a Wednesday. Blake Owens, News Talk 710 KNUS.
More of the same, sunny to partly sunny skies, unseasonably mild with mid to upper 50s today, lows tonight near 30, and partly cloudy skies, middle to upper 50s Wednesday, 30s Wednesday night. We actually have a change in the weather coming at the end of the week, actually could have some winter weather. Becoming cloudy Wednesday night with areas of light snow developing Thursday. Highs Thursday will be low to mid 40s and temperatures falling. Light snow Thursday night, much colder upper teens. Cold Friday, a few snow showers, highs 30s. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
All right, Denver Gazette headline that none of us wanted to see. No Tabor refunds this year as Colorado Governor Polis warns of tight fiscal outlook. Governor Polis has submitted a revised budget request for the next 2 fiscal years, calling for new public safety spending, changes to Medicaid growth, and renewed efforts to privatize Pinnacle Insurance. They need the money. There's that old adage from Margaret Thatcher, right? Socialism's great until you run out of other people's money. Well, just remember, they started with we're going to tax the billionaires. And then it was, we're going to tax the millionaires. And then we're going to tax anybody who makes over $300,000. Now it's you. It's all of you. They're keeping the money. Notably, the governor said residents won't get refunds from the Taxpayer Bill of Rights. We're focused on protecting the issues that Coloradans care most about: education, access to health care, and safety, while delivering a balanced budget for Colorado. In this difficult budget environment, we're doing everything we can to deliver the best possible results for Colorado, and we know that the Joint Budget Committee will have challenging decisions to make in the months ahead. Do you remember, too, they had to do all these, cutbacks, special sessions? Well, it's going to get even more. He writes that we look forward to working with the Joint Budget Committee and the rest of the General Assembly. The new request totaled $48.6 billion, with $18.2 billion in general funds for fiscal year 2025 through 2026, and $50.5 billion for 2026-2027. That's a record. Biggest budget Colorado's ever had. Polis said the state will be about $3.8 million below the Tabor cap, meaning Coloradans will not receive the refund in 2026. However, Governor's office expects the general fund revenue to grow. How do you think that revenue grows, guys?
Yeah.
It will grow in 2026 and 27, resulting maybe in a surplus of $208 million, but not till next year. Polis said that the state is expected to bring in approximately $87 million less, blaming the congressional budget bill known as H.R. 1 for the predicament. Polis again asked for a 13% budget reserve consistent with his budget requests of late 2025. Democrats argue that the fiscal woes that Colorado's facing are the result of actions of Republicans in Congress and the Trump administration. It's not our fault. I mean, we have the ability to tax you and fee you into oblivion. We've increased fees by 3,000%, but it's those guys' fault. It's over there in Washington, D.C. Republicans have countered that Colorado's fiscal challenges are the result of years of incessant government growth and overspending under the Democratic majority. That is the case. He does want to add $34 million to address those competency issues. You know those the problem with just letting these guys out all the time when the state deems them incompetent? $34 million. I don't think that's going to help much. By the way, Bill, I saw a T-shirt that said, "Make insane asylums great again."
Ooh, God, ouch. And that's only because I remember some of the problems we had with the original insane asylums. We didn't go around closing them through the Reagan years because they were wonderful places that all the people were there getting
the other
care
side
for.
is we just throw them out in the street and we don't have any reports.
No, I didn't say that was a better option.
Yeah.
But the idea of going back to that, I don't know.
Well, Polis wants to add $34 million. I'm actually okay with that, but I don't think it's enough. In his October budget request, Polis noted that the rate of growth in state Medicaid spending over the last decade has exceeded both the state's revenue growth rate and the Tabor cap. This is really where most of the money is going to Medicaid, which I think there's fraud there, like you're seeing in Minnesota as well. I mean, the fact that all of a sudden our generation needs so much money for health care, it's just kind of crazy. This threatens the long-term sustainability of Medicaid, jeopardizes our ability to continue to fund all eligible Coloradans, and has serious and unacceptable consequences for the entire state budget. Medicaid accounts for about 1/3 of the total general fund spending. Now remember, that's not Medicare. Medicare is what you get when you're older and you've paid into it. Medicaid is supposed to be health care for people that can't afford it. And it accounts for 1/3 of the entire general fund spending. That's out of control, guys. Even Polis says so. He says it's one area where the state can reduce spending without seeing extremely significant impacts. We would need to reduce operating expenditures across all other parts of state government by 23% in order to achieve the same level of Medicaid reductions we're proposing in this budget. So if we don't cut the Medicaid, every other part of the state gets cut by 23%. Good night. And you have money in Medicaid going towards illegal immigrants. You have it going towards people that aren't so desperately poor that they couldn't afford health care. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Francis Golden headlined no Tabor refunds this year. What do you think of that?
No, it's not surprising particularly. I mean, I don't think it's going to be this year, and I don't think it'll be next year either, because they got to get Medicaid under control. It became Frankenstein's monster with federal matching type stuff. It became a way to balance the budget, as if money was just manna from heaven. But the other thing I was going to mention is that, and I know this on account of this is an area that I practice in, is the Pinnacle. Disaffiliation is how they put it.
Yeah.
It's Pinnacle buying its freedom from the state. And the article makes it sound like it was Polis's idea. Pinnacle's been trying to do this for like the last 15 years, ever since our friend Morgan Carroll, in the last big budget crisis in 2008, started eyeballing Pinnacle and saying, why can't we just take all that money? Of course, Morgan doesn't understand things very well. It's a mutual fund and it's not your money. But regardless, that was then, this is now. But this is a card that gets played once, and it's going to take probably a couple of years to do this, to untangle them. And the money that is really going to be used to help buy the freedom is para buyout stuff, because that's really the huge liability here. And at least as of a little over 10 years ago, the article says, that could be $400 million. And therefore we can keep a senior property tax exemption afloat, which is supposed to expire this year. Well, like I say, that's a one-time buyout, but it's also way undervalued. Pinnacle was over-reserved about 13 years ago by about $700 million. And that's through an independent accounting. And not a dang thing has changed with them except for the intervening COVID pandemic. And, which of course caused losses. But I'll tell you what, when Morgan Carroll was trying to tear up Pinnacle, one of the things that kept them as a state entity was the fact that they went down there and testified about, we got to be this over-reserved. We have to have this much in reserves, because what if there's a pandemic? And then lo and behold, COVID. It was kind of funny. It was a little bit
So you're saying that the
justice.
fund is worth $700 million, but the state would pay, or the state would receive $400 million if it sold it.
Well, I haven't looked fully at the math. They were over-reserved that much over 10 years ago. Being over-reserved means that's how much more they have over and above to pay existing claims or projected claims. So they, I don't know what their over-reserved position is now. I know they've been stockpiling that money to buy their freedom because they're going to have to buy out all that peril liability. So in reality here, what you've had is a whole bunch of money that's been piled away that was allegedly reserved to pay claims that is now going to be used to pay to buy their freedom. And I don't know how the accounting works on this. It just seems to me to be ridiculous. The company buying its freedom is worth more than the $400 million by a long shot. They've got to, the state's going to have to allow this to happen. They're going to have really independent accounting of what this is worth and what Pinnacle's willing to pay to switch over peril liability. That's really got to happen.
But your point being it's a one-time payment to the state. Right,
absolutely.
So that's it. Yeah. I mean, these guys. What's very clear to me in this budget analysis that's written about in the Denver Gazette is that Polis and the Democrats are flipping over couch cushions at this point. They relied too much on federal funds, particularly around COVID. They built all these programs. Medicaid spending's getting out of control. They're still putting money out there for illegal immigrants to have health care, for education. It's just out of control. And the worst thing you can do, and I see it on these text messages here. Yeah. The worst thing you can do in a socialist Democrat state is cut a program, because now what are people going to do? How are they going to eat? How are they going to get health care? How are they going to get education and housing and jobs without the state providing it for us?
I don't know. There is no good answer for this, except you got to just kind of get off of the crack that is the Medicaid, and you're going to have to just look at programs and individually assess whether you need to keep them, whether they really present any benefit. It's difficult because literally right now, I mean, if you're selling off Pinnacle, you're like Ma Flanders. You're just selling off the family China or whatever the hell. It doesn't matter. And I know in 2008 there was a lot of discussion too about selling off other state assets, like some of the smaller four-year colleges and things like this. Literally just selling them. Like what do we have of value? Just let's have a fire sale, garage sale type thing of assets. And it seems to me the better answer is maybe you just get your budget under control, not look to peddle everything that's of value. But
right,
I don't know, that's my take on it.
I mean, Francis, I'm with you because you got to get out of this cul-de-sac too, of believing that unless the government provides it, nobody will. I mean, it goes back to who was the Soviet president, right? Gorbachev saying to Margaret Thatcher, "If you don't feed your people, who will?" And Thatcher's going, "It's not my job to feed." Are you kidding? It's not the government's job to feed the people. The market works this ways out. But if you're in that communist socialist mindset, if the state doesn't provide it, nobody will.
No one will.
So, Francis,
can I
go
offer
ahead.
one other quick thing?
Please.
I tried that two-straw process that Billy was talking about, and I quit doing it. And you know why?
Why?
Because everybody said I can't suck enough.
There is a problem based on the fact that there's a gap between the two, so you do not have the full suction power. I do understand that one, but it was because I could always notice when one of my friends was messing with my drink, because we were not above that, running around as high schoolers and middle schoolers.
Sure.
So of course, you gotta find that one out.
Francis, great call. Thanks so much.
Francis,
That's Francis from Golden. By the way, Francis, there's going to be a great event in Golden at the Rolling Hills Country Club. We're going to talk about it in the 8 o'clock hour, but called the Golden Summit. And it's a gathering of conservatives this Saturday, Rolling Hills Country Club, talking about the future of the conservative movement. Heidi Ganahl, Jarvis Caldwell, top Republican in the House, as well as my wife and I will all be speakers at the event. They've got custom-made cowboy hats, live country music, barbecue. It's a ton of fun. I'll have links and x.com if you want to go be a part of it. But we'll be up in Golden, which is a ton of fun.
That'll be cool.
All right. Let's talk the gun room, folks. When I'm not in studios doing my morning show or out on my ranch, a big part of my life is being a responsible gun owner, and that's why I trust the gun room. These folks are Colorado people. They know firearms, they know safety, and they take time to walk you through what's right for you. So whether you're new to shooting or looking to expand your collection, want expert guidance from people who actually care, the gun room is the place. Look, I'm a big Second Amendment proponent, but I don't know all the details of firearms. And sometimes you walk into a gun shop and they're like, "Oh, what do you want? A 4.42 or a 9.51?" I'm like, I don't know. I want a gun. I want to shoot bad guys. And so sometimes you feel a little intimidated. The gun room is not that way. These people love to help folks. So give them a call, 303-237-1300. They'll pick up the phone. Happy to answer any questions you have. Stop in, browse their selection of new and used firearms, or just ask a few questions. Also, if you have a loved one who's passed away and you have a big firearm collection you're looking to sell, they will give you a great deal, work with you to go through the entire collection, make sure you get a fair price. It's the Gun Room in Lakewood. Check them out at denvergunroom.com. Be sure to tell them Jeff sent you. I'll see you inside. We'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS. Oh, wow. This is... Man, Chris Stapleton, this is nice.
I saw the Stapleton show. Not impressed.
Oh, really? Why?
No.
I'm just curious. I've never seen him live.
He just gets up there. He doesn't talk. He doesn't engage. There's no show. He's like, I'm going to play my songs. And he just sits there and plays the songs and sings.
Interesting.
It's one level up from just throwing an iPad up there.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always wondered about that with singers, because when you get up on stage, you're asking for people to pay attention. But if you're not that good at audience engagement and entertainment, that can be very difficult. And I've seen some frontmen that are very, very bad at that audience engagement, and some that are absolutely phenomenal. And if you're working as a solo act, that's got to be tough if you're not getting it in there, because part of the reason that people are there to hear you live is to hear those stories. That's part of the reason that you bought the ticket.
Entertain us.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And share the silly stories. Yeah. About I was doing this when I wrote this song. This song means this. Or, oh my gosh, you won't believe the great burrito that I had today when I was in your wonderful city. Whatever the heck it is. Yeah, those stories. That's what you kind of look
Chess Rockwell saying Stapleton's Fire Live. Get serious. No.
I've never seen him live, so I don't
look,
know.
I've been to some shows like Keith Urban, man. That is fun. That is a fun show. Stapleton literally didn't move.
Yeah.
He stood in the same spot for 2 hours and just played his songs.
Oh, jeez.
So, we are talking Jarhead Polis announcing no Tabor refunds this year. People, Jay from Louisville, saying, I can't imagine crying about other people getting health care while also claiming to be religious and caring about people almost as if it's disingenuous. Jay, here's the problem I have. The government providing it. Because, and I would encourage you, Jay from Louisville, please, this is a great book. I think it should be mandatory reading. Basic Economics from Thomas Sowell. What happens when people exchange dollar for a service in a free market is you get, typically it forces the service to be a quality service. It's a transparent service. What you've seen in Minnesota and what you see elsewhere is that when the government gets in the way and forces people to give a dollar, then collects the dollar, then somehow determines the service itself, you have lots of other things that get in the way of it. You have the special interests of the government determining what that service is, what it's going to look like. And so it becomes less transparent. The quality goes down. And that's exactly what you're seeing in the state. So what's more disingenuous? Forcing people by the point of a gun, which is a tax, to give up their hard-earned money, hand it to the government that then determines what that health care is going to look like. The service goes down. It gets more expensive. The rest of our services go down. The rest of our services get more expensive. Or saying, let's go back to a free market system where everything else in your life improves in quality and is more transparent than the services you're getting from the healthcare industry.
Well, there are a couple of things like it's not Medicaid, but Medicare actually has high approval rate within the people that are using it. In fact, in some surveys, it shows a higher approval rate than people that have private insurance. So the assumption that people will dislike the government-supplied health care, and that's not holds true in other countries as well. It's all dependent upon the system and how you set it up. So I don't think it's necessarily a conclusion that we can count on, that anything as far as government-run healthcare is going to be absolutely hated, because people seem to like the Medicare quite a lot. And I understand the idea that you're talking about the taxes being theft, and I disagree with that, because I don't view the state as being the third step in that process, but that's probably for a different day as far as the discussion. The thing that I'm looking at is the budget cuts and where Polis is choosing to make some of the cuts. And when he's talking about some of the things as far as insurance and healthcare and other programs, those I would submit seem to be priorities to individuals in the state. Making sure that individuals can receive health care seems probably to be more of a priority to maybe myself, maybe you, Jeff, and maybe the larger listeners of the Jeff and Bill show than something like the wolf reintroduction program. And so, or building, the Native American, whatever the hell it is out near, the airport.
Yeah,
those
right.
type of things. So the idea is, I think there are other extraneous programs that we can cut funding for, but I think that Polis, in this case, is playing some politics with cutting things that he knows are going to be pain points. I think it's intentional, and I dislike that from him, because if the Jeff and Bill audience was trying to cut the budget, if they were looking into 2026 going, listen, things are tight, we've got to cut back, you're probably chopping off things like those extra subscriptions. You're looking at those things because a lot of little cuts can lead to large cuts, rather than saying we are going to spend 30% less on our groceries. You're going to try to find that 30% less elsewhere. Can we carpool more? Can we do this? Can we change our insurance provider? Can we change, our home insurance? Can we lower rates that way? Do we increase deductibles? There are all sorts of things that we individually do to manipulate our budgets to make things work. And what I'm seeing from Polis is just, we're going to cut the stuff that probably is the most important and will cause the most pain so that you guys are mad at things.
Well,
Yeah.
in part, yeah. I mean, the things that you mentioned there do need to be cut. But what I'm concerned about is we're on a path with healthcare where it's going to get ever more expensive and the quality is going to drop. And this happens everywhere the government gets involved. Everywhere. Education, housing. Look at and then not even to mention the fraud that gets pulled into all this stuff. So what I'm concerned about is that this is going to continue to grow, continue to suffer. The quality is going to go down, and it's going to affect all of us. But prove me wrong. Give me a call, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
We are Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS. We got to do a little story about this one. The story goes, Dr. Dre's just hearing about Eminem, figuring out who he is. He's coming up. People are throwing tapes out there. He brings him into the studio, very first day. I believe the story, it's kind of fun for the story. He's wearing a bright yellow tracksuit, full yellow, Eminem. So think about that. And he's not a star yet. Walks in, and they've got, and Dre's working with him very first time, and Dre's got that basic beat, the bump, banana, bump, going to the background. And he goes, man, what do you think of this? And he says, M listens to it for about 45 seconds and goes, hi, my name is, what? My name is, and Dre went, stop, okay, hit record, let's do this thing. And that's when Dr. Dre knew that Eminem was special. Yeah. There's some
Genius
great
level
stories
there.
about him. He's really cool.
Crazy lib, though. He did a whole thing with Trump getting shot, didn't he?
I don't remember. Again, I don't pay as much attention to the politics inside of the music. I really don't.
Really?
No.
You don't?
No, I really don't. I separate a lot of that out. I really don't look at the politics because I'm not going to the music for the politics. I'm going to the music for totally something different than that. I recognize that there are some bands out there that absolutely have, politics behind them. Rage Against the Machine, Dropkick Murphys, others, things like that. But, maybe sometimes it's just about, spending some time and getting caught cheating on your wife. Huh, Coldplay fans? Yeah, just saying.
All right, this next hour, we're going to talk Trump administration freezing Colorado funding for child care families in, quote, deep poverty. Denver Post sounding the alarm. What are we going to do if the government doesn't provide it for us? Colorado is facing a, quote, devastating, unquote, freeze of federal funds meant for the state's poorest families as part of a broader swipe the Trump administration took at 5 Democrat-led states Tuesday. I don't know. Maybe if progressives were as concerned about $1 billion being used fraudulently on some of these programs, then maybe we could address these. But no, the idea we cut them. This is where I go with the progressive worldview, right? The idea that cutting a program is a worse sin than people being fraudulent in the program. That's mind-blowing to me. Like, you don't see, like, that Nick guy that's going around in Minnesota with all the videos and the left attacking Nick. How dare you expose this? Do you know what this is going to do? This is going to mean cuts. Not the $1 billion in fraud that was done in these programs. Oh, that's an acceptable risk. Except that money comes from hard-working taxpayers who had no choice. They had to pay into this, so they're going to be put in jail. They defrauded those programs up to $1 billion, if not more. And God forbid we actually cut the programs. That's going to get the headlines. All right, we'll continue the debate. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
We are Denver's talk leader. This is News Talk